Hi, welcome to today's episode of Tomorrow's Leader, where we dive deep on all things leader related to leading yourself and leading others. I'm John Laurito, your host on this beautiful Friday afternoon. I hope you are about to enjoy a great weekend, although I'm not sure when you're listening to this, so it might be Monday, in which case I hope you have a great week. But I wanted to share just a concept with you. I was talking to somebody about this recently, and it brought just this idea kind of in mind of how people tend to play life. And I've seen so many people recently, especially over the last year and a half, with all this craziness that seem to be just stuck, whether it's stuck in their career, whether it's stuck in a relationship, whether it's stuck in life, and they just can't seem to get themselves to make a change or just make any kind of adjustment to the path that they're on. So they feel like they're continuing down this path that they don't either have a choice or they don't have the willingness to make a decision. I've always been a huge believer, and a friend of mine shared a quote with me which absolutely captures this perfectly. You are always one decision away from changing your life. Literally, because it's not just that one decision that you make, but it's the ripple effect of having made that decision. And most people, unfortunately, are afraid to make a decision because they don't know what the consequences are going to be. They're afraid to make a mistake, and they don't know what that ripple effect is actually going to look like. But the people that understand that when you make a decision, what it does is change your vantage point. You take a step forward, and you now have a whole bunch of different things that you're seeing that you didn't necessarily see before. So I kind of relate it to the way you play different games. And I think about most people play the game of life, not the game of life, but they play life the way that they would play hide and seek, where the object of the game is just to not get noticed, not get found. They find a spot and they stay in that spot, and that spot is way somewhere hidden that nobody can see, and they're just staying quiet, they're staying still, and they're praying that nobody comes and finds them, and they're just waiting and not doing anything other than just waiting. And the way you win that game, I guess you win the game, is if nobody finds you. And that's how you win. It's a fun game. It's a great game. We've all played it zillions of times. But it's kind of a weird premise, right? You win by just nobody finding you. So that's not very motivating, right? To me, I think about the game of life, this life that we're living, is to do stuff, to get out there, to try new things, to carve a new path and create a new life for yourself and a new chapter of life and do the things that make you happy. And I look at it and think, okay, well, I would say it's kind of like playing the game of Jenga, which the way I think about how I play Jenga, and for those of you who have played it, those bricks that the blocks that you pile up to see how high you can get the tower without knocking it down. Well, if you're smart about it, you don't just go pulling out a brick randomly or a block, because you don't know if that block is going to have a lot of weight on it and it's going to topple over the tower. But you do what? You kind of poke at it and figure out which of these blocks is a little bit looser than the others. And you try to find the one that's actually the loosest, and some of them will just move really easily, in which case you've got really a low amount of risk. It's a move that'll move you forward, but it has a low amount of risk. And then you put that block on the top, and then the next person goes. Well, if you think about it, I mean, a lot of people are just stuck. They don't know which block to move, so to speak, in their life. They don't know what step to take, and so they don't do anything. And my advice would be, if you play life the way you play Jenga, find the block that's the easiest one to move. You don't have to move 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. You don't have to move the hardest one or the biggest one. Pick the one that's the easiest one to move. Take one step and take the step that has the least amount of risk and ultimately still moving you forward. If that's the way you've got to do it, then do that. Take the smallest step you have to take and move yourself forward. That's it. It's just about taking a step forward versus staying stationary and staying hidden and trying to not get found, so to speak. So I hope that analogy makes sense. Every so often I have conversations with people and it brings an idea or perspective, or in this case, an analogy. And I see too many people living their life in a way that ultimately is not making them happy and ultimately not making other people happy. So guess what? Time to make a change. You got to do it. You got to do something, right? So play Jenga. You'll know what I'm talking about. Hope you've enjoyed this. Hope this got the wheels turning. Again, If you're listening to this on a Friday, about to enjoy a great weekend, do it. If it's a Sunday, make the most of it. If it's a Monday, I hope you're doing something that you love and a Monday feels like a Friday, because God knows I am. So have a great one. Thanks for listening. Like, share, subscribe. Give me some comments, some feedback, 5-star reviews, all that kind of good stuff. And I'll see you next time. Thanks.